So you'd like to add some team members into Essentials. Now, you're going to navigate over to the Personnel and Security section from the left-hand menu panel, and you're going to click into Personnel. Now, please keep in mind, personnel can be one of many different types of team members. They can, for example, be a vendor, so an external contractor that you would like to have receive email notifications, or perhaps you would like them to be able to log into Essentials. They can be internal team members, so perhaps you'd like for your technicians to be able to log in to pull up the work events that have been assigned to them. And perhaps you would like your administrative level users or your managers the ability to also log into the system. So any of those scenarios will require that you navigate here to Personnel to create a new Personnel ID. So in order to do that, you're going to go to the plus icon towards the top right-hand side. You're going to click there to create a new Personnel ID. Essentials is going to require that you fill in a couple of required fields. Those are noted with the asterisk next to them. So I'm going to fill in the personnel ID. I'll fill in the full name, the email address, now that email address is important because if you want that team member to receive any type of email notifications, perhaps they would like to be notified when a service request gets submitted or when a service request gets updated, Essentials is going to need that email address information. And then you're going to need to go down to this category field. Now, click on the drop down and notice you can define what category you want your personnel to be. So if they're internal to your company, they would be considered staff. If they're external, like a vendor that would need to log into Essentials, you're going to assign them to the contractor. So I'll select staff here, and I'll populate a couple of other fields as well. You can include a picture. So I'm going to go out to my drive and locate that picture. So there is the picture. You can fill in some other information if you find it to be useful, such as their phone number information, such as their craft code. So if they're a mechanic, an electrician, a general maintenance journeyman type of person, you can identify or even create new crafts codes if you need to. You can define a shift, so that will be helpful when you're going to assign personnel team members to PMs or corrective maintenance events. You can search by the shift assignment, and I'm going to save that information. Now, a couple of final points here. I'm going to navigate to the User Security tab, and you're going to notice that there is a license type option. FaciliWorks User means that that team member should be able to log into the application and have some level of full access throughout the application. Now, they might be a technician that needs limited access. They might be a service requester that just needs to be able to submit service requests. And when that is the case, notice that there is a drop down for the service request license. So if you want that team member to just submit a request, then you can assign them to the service requester license. And then finally, enable login. Now, if you do not enable login, that means that that team member could be assigned to PMs and corrective maintenance events. They could receive email notifications because you have provided the email address, but they're not going to be able to log into the application. So I'm going to slide over the enable option and save that change. And now that team member is going to receive an email confirmation that's going to ask them to set up their passphrase so that they can successfully log into Essentials.